What up, what up, what up? This is ELA TV, Dre.
Jackal.
We got a topic today. What we on today, bro?
You know what?
So tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel.
Let's talk about selling drugs.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, we both came up in similar type of environments and stuff. You know, everybody talk about, you know, they had to sell drugs to, you know, survive and all this type of stuff.
Right, right.
What's your take on that? Did you have to do that to survive? Or if you didn't, how did you get through and not do that? You know, that type of deal. Because everybody in the hood always saying, man, you look, I had to sell drugs and yada, yada, yada.
Well, everybody has a choice. If you can sell drugs or
400 years of slavery sound like a choice to me.
right. Well, I mean, you can sell drugs or you cannot sell drugs. I think for me, you know, truth be told, I mean, I'm giving you the raw meat. I didn't have to. Shit, I stayed in the suburbs. I stayed in Maplewood. I had a dad who worked at 3M, and I had a house over my head. I was good.
So you had a different type of problem though. Like a lot of people in the hood grow up in the hood,
right?
So they got hood stuff to worry about. But if you grew up in the suburbs, what was your issues? Like you were probably the only black person around all white people, or what?
One, I was the only black person, and you got all these white people who are in high school, and they got, you know, they driving this nice car, and they're driving this, and they got these type of clothes on, where my parents were not able to afford those things, because at that time it was more like I had to wear Pro Wings, you know, from Payless, or I had to wear
Pro Wings. That was the Payless shoes.
That was the Payless shoes.
Payless gym shoes.
Right, Payless gym shoes. My dad would not buy me Nikes for shit in the world. Wouldn't buy me Nikes. They cost too much. That was him at that time. And I wore Wranglers and Levi's. I wore shit like that. And when you see people at your school and you're in this whole white community and everybody's wearing pretty much upper class shit, I just couldn't just live the way I was living. So what I did was I started selling a little weed here and there at school. Okay, I was selling a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I was selling weed at school, and you know, I was able to get my Jordans, and I went to McDonald's, applied for a job there just so I could have my nice little cover up. But I mean, I think selling drugs, man, is a choice, you know, that you make. It's not a way of life. It's not a way of culture. It's not none of that. You want the best. You know, you wanna have the nice car. You wanna have the nice Jordans. You wanna have the nice pants on. You wanna have all this that's nice. If you only working for $5.45 an hour, you ain't getting that shit. Your check is only $200 every 2 weeks. Okay, so at that point, I just figured that if I could do this, my family background, you know, not to put everybody out there, but my family background, that's what they did. You know, sold drugs. Some of my friends, that's what they did. Not all of them. Some of them had them nice things that them white people at my school had. I wanted that too. You know, I wanted to be one of the ones who was amongst people who had nice shit versus being one of the ones who, when you look at me, I was less because I didn't have. And in that era, you were judged by that. You were judged by what you wore or what you had or what you did not have or how your house looked or things like that. So I made that choice. I'm not saying it was a great choice, but I still made that choice to be able to do that. But I knew it was not for me. But the quick money was cool. I mean, you know, you get $200 a day, you're doing all right. You know, when you're 17 years old or you're 18 years old, I mean, $200 in that time, I mean, shit, that's good money. You know, you get $200 a day, shit, by the end of the week, shit, you got about a good 800 or something in your pocket. You doing okay. Can't complain.
Did something happen, and you said, so what happened?
It just wasn't. It just wasn't in my heart to do it. To continuously do it.
So you just stopped?
And I just stopped. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really in my heart to really just do it. I mean, I think living with my parents, I was okay, and they was already busting their ass to make sure that we had what we had. I think it was you have to be able to understand that they're already struggling to make sure that you got, you know, what you need, and not get you what you want. And it's cool to be able to have some Nikes, but it ain't cool when your friends make fun of you when you got some Nucleus 317s on your feet. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
what the hell is Nucleus 317?
Man, look, I had some Nucleus that was on my feet, man, that my homeboys used to call me the Nucleus boy. And then, you know, I had some JF 35s, and there were some fucked up shoes that came from like a Walmart, so to speak.
I had some shoes called Olympians.
Oh, see, so you understand.
I flipped it though. I made because Run DMC made my Adidas back then. Right. So I made a song called My Olympians. So it was like, my Olympians walk through steel gate doors, never ever had shoes like these before. Never, I got so many pair of Olympians galore. You can never find these in a hardware store.
See there? But you turned it into something cool. I mean, I'm in like where you grew up at. You know, you grew up in Chicago. You grew up in a place where everything was actually hard and difficult, and you don't know if you're finna get shot just going to school. I grew up in an area where fuck everybody white at my goddamn school. The only thing I gotta worry about is racism. That's it. Not saying that wasn't hard, but it wasn't like it wasn't the urban thing that I had. You know, I didn't have that urban culture in my life at that time. You know, because I'm so secluded from it. So I didn't have that. And the only person that I had that wore Nikes all the time was Jason. And he wore Nikes. So I would always go to his house, take his shoes, and put his Nikes on my feet and wear his Nikes to school. Or I would wear his brother's Nikes to school, or James' Nikes to school. I would wear them. So Cortez, I found out about Cortez by wearing their shit, not my own. Because I was wearing fucked up shoes all the goddamn time. I had a pair of goddamn shoes, let me tell you, I had a pair of Pro Wings that we were playing basketball one day, and I stopped, and my foot went through the whole motherfucking shoe. And my parents blamed me for cutting the shoe so I could get a pair of Nikes, which was not true. But my brother did cut his fucked up shoe just so he can get a pair of Nikes. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I just think that, you know, the way culture is built and the way society perceives things, you have to be a certain way to not be judged as less. And I think when you're judged as less, you know, you don't want to be less, especially with my personality and the type of person that I am. You know, I don't never want to be judged as less. I always want to be somebody that's, you know, I can do good as the next man. I'm okay, fine. I might not got a Rolls Royce, but I got a Altima, you know, but that's nice to me. You know, I might not got your kind of money, you know, so I don't know. I think it can just go pretty much either way. What do you think?
Well, the drug thing to me, you know me, man, just like with everything else, I'm an all in it or nothing type of dude, you know, like when I was doing embroidery for seat covers, I'm like, why should I pay somebody to embroider stuff on my shirt or my motorcycle seat? I just buy the machine.
There
you know what I'm saying? Why should I pay
cut out the middleman,
somebody to screen print? I just buy the machine.
Right.
You know,
right.
I'm into that, and I always been into that. So I was like, I can never sell drugs because I would have to go all in. Like I couldn't be somebody selling dimes and nicks. You know what I'm saying, on the street. I gotta be that dude moving weight. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
it wasn't worth it for me the price I would have to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm gonna sell drugs away, I would have to do it the way I'm.
You got to go all out.
Yeah, and
you got to go all out.
And I'm gonna be getting years in prison, and I'm like, I can't do that. So I don't want to go to prison for the rest of my life. So I got to find another way to have the things that these people got that ain't gonna send me to prison. Because no matter how much you gain, if you go to prison and they take all of it, all you got is a story to tell about it.
That's it.
Don't mean nothing no more. You in prison talking about what you used to be.
Well, think about it this way. Think about it this way. If we're going to talk about the drug game, think about, and you could probably count them on both hands and toes and both feet, how many friends you know that are in prison right now or dead behind drugs?
Yeah.
I could probably count to you on both hands. You know, shit, probably on both feet too. How many friends either went to prison doing life or doing at least 15 or not even here today behind the drug game? Because what the drug game, what that brings, man, three things come with that. You can either be on top for a while and lose it all, or you can be on top and get killed, or you can be on top and get caught and wind up in prison. There are three things that could happen.
At the best, at the peak.
At the peak, when you're literally at the peak of your game. When you're at the peak of your game. Do I ever think I had a peak of my game in the drug game? Fuck no. Because there really wasn't no peak to me. I mean, I did it because shit, I just needed some extra money. You know, and that was the quickest way to get it. But the problem with that is I'm looking over my shoulders. I'm worried about who's going to set me up. I got to ride with this in my car. If I get pulled over by the police and they happen to search my car, all these different things can happen. And them are the things that I was worried about all the time. Because it goes back to what you say, is getting caught for an ounce worth 5 years of my life sitting in jail. And then now that I'm in jail, I gotta fight these niggas off who think that I'm pretty and some shit might be trying to happen and these niggas trying to get at me. And,
Right.
You know, niggas is trying to test me, or I gotta become something that I'm not while I'm in prison.
Yeah.
All because I wanted to sell some drugs. I mean, to me, it's not worth it. I mean, everybody has a choice. Some people think that they don't have a choice. You know, whether you're in New York, whether you're California, Atlanta, you know, society makes us think because you live in an urban community, this is all you have. This is all we're leaving you.
You ain't gotta become a doctor or MBA. You can just be. You can become a person who can have a house,
a regular
person who can have a good car, a nice car. You know, a person who can raise a family where they kids they ain't gotta worry about that running around here. Kids ain't gotta worry about. You know what I'm saying? Who gonna try to shoot them and who gonna try to take their shoes and all that? But
I agree.
It was put there to break black people down, and then so black people started selling the drugs instead of using the drugs, and so that caused another problem. But then they found a solution to that too. Okay, now we can make harsher penalties for these drugs that black people use.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like black people, majority don't use cocaine. That's the white man's drug. So they use crack because that's what they can afford. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what they sell, and that's what they use.
Right.
So they made harsher penalties for crack. So now we can get these black men in jail, in prison, harsher penalties for crack than cocaine, get them away from their families. Now their families growing up fatherless. You know what I'm saying? So the women may have to go on welfare to support the children now. Ain't no man in the home. So they breaking up the homes. You know what I'm saying? And now look, it's more black men in prison today than it was in the slave fields in 1850.
Well, look at it this way. Since drugs have been a big part of the communities or our lives, or I'll take this back. Since drugs have been a big part of our culture, how many more prisons have they built?
Yeah, and they prison for profit.
Well, of course they're going to.
You know what I'm saying?
Because now you got this person
Private prisons
shooting this person. These guys having wars over turf and who's selling this over here. Prisons are becoming overcrowded. So now that they're becoming overcrowded, now we got to build a bigger prison.
Well, they got prisons that they have a quota of how many people have to be in that prison. Like the prison got to be at 95% capacity, or if not, the government has to pay a penalty for that.
See,
so you know what I'm saying? So like, if you privatizing prisons and saying it has to be filled to this capacity, suppose it ain't that much crime happening. That means you got to arrest people, crime or not, to fill that prison out.
Fill that prison out.
You know.
Well, then now you get them for simple shit. You know, then now you get them for jaywalking. You got to get them for DWIs. You got to get them for
or you got to plant stuff on them.
You know, you got to plant shit on them, or you got to get them for you went to the store and you robbed the store and you only took a Snicker bars, but since you took a Snicker bar, that's 5 years, because every person in prison is taxed. Mm-hmm. Every single person that is in prison. So if you got 1,000 people, or no, I'll take that back. You got 3,000 people that is in one prison. Every single one of them cost. They ain't there for free. Mm-hmm. And the government they tax that. They tax that. That's what keeps it constantly rolling. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But nobody understands that, because, you know, you always look at it as black people are going to always go to jail because we flood their communities with drugs. So we already know what's going to happen when we flood their community with drugs.
Well, statistics say that black people don't sell no more drugs than our white counterparts, no more drugs than our Asian counterparts. Everybody, all these races sell drugs at the same rate.
At the same rate.
You know what I'm saying? But black people go to prison and go to jail. They're 7 to 9 times more likely to go to jail or prison, because police are looking for black people to do that. Yes. And then they go to, everybody know where the drugs and all that's being sold is in colleges. You know what I'm saying? And
mostly all white colleges.
And that's where
you got your meth.
They ain't going there.
You got your meth. You got your coke. You got, they ain't really looking for weed. But they're trying to hit you for weed. But you got your meth.
No, the weed. Coke. See, the weed is another thing. Weed is, you know why weed's illegal?
Illegal where? Because they're
in the
making
United States. No, do you know why it's illegal though?
Why? Because it ain't illegal in the United States.
It is illegal in the United States.
No, California, they're selling medical marijuana.
It's still illegal.
Oh, okay. It's illegal for me and you to sell it, but it's not illegal.
Federally, it's illegal.
For who?
Federally, weed is illegal right now. States are saying, like Colorado, are saying you can still, but it's still federally illegal for them to do it.
But they're doing it. They got stores.
But I'm saying it's still federally illegal, and the reason weed became illegal in the first place is not because of the harm, or not because what it does to you or what it doesn't do to you. Weed became illegal because they used it as a tool to scare white people, and that's why they call it marijuana, because Mexicans were using it and they called it marijuana, but everybody was using weed. They were using it to build things, to make rope, to make, you know what I'm saying? The cannabis leaf was used for all this, and then because some companies wanted to use oil, and you know what I'm saying, they was using the cannabis plant to make oils, to make like nylon, to make Ford built the whole car in front of the cannabis plant. The whole car. You know what I'm saying? So it was way cheaper than oil, way cheaper than plastic, or oil to make plastic. And so they were the leaders of this industry, so they didn't want cannabis to come take over their industry. So they use scare tactics and call it marijuana. They say it'll make the black men and the Mexicans rape your white women. The same thing they did with cocaine to make it illegal.
Right.
So then they start putting in advertisement, and putting it in movies. And then they convince the Congress at the time to ban it. With no implications or no proof that it does anything harmful to you at all. They just said it'll make, and they got commercials that you can see today on YouTube that used to be out. It said, smoking this marijuana, they'll the black man will rape your white women. And so they got scared of that. They made it illegal. They say it has the same effect basically as cocaine does on you, which is bullshit.
But no, it doesn't.
Right.
It does not have the same effect. It does not have the same effect whatsoever. People can smoke weed for hours and be okay. You ain't never heard nobody ever overdosing on weed.
Right.
Not ever. But you can get somebody,
or smoking some weed and saying, hey, let's go out and commit a crime now.
Let's go commit a crime. Even if it's the most fierest weed in the world. Now you can smoke some coke and overdose on that. You can do some meth, overdose on that. You can do some crack, heroin, overdose on all of those things. You ain't never once heard somebody overdosing, dude, on weed whatsoever.
You can go to sleep.
Nigga, look.
That's about it.
The only thing you could overdose on is the food in the damn refrigerator. That's it. And some sleep. But that's it. And then get up and do the shit all over again. So, I mean.
So that's my point on why, I never did it. Oh, and the reason I didn't have to do it is because I said, okay, I got to make a choice. I'm not going to sell that because I would have to do it big. And so what else am I going to do? Okay, I'm not finna work at McDonald's or Burger King. Not that there's nothing wrong with that, but
I was going to say, what's wrong with that? I worked at McDonald's, Nick. Car wash, oil change.
Well, I just felt like I can do more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Why should I settle for doing this if it's a minimum wage job? Why do I got to settle for a minimum wage job? Why can't I try to get a good job?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So that's always been how I thought. And so I started taking classes in high school. One of my classes I took was teach you how to do your taxes and all that.
Right.
And so, I got on a work study program, so they found me a job. You know what I mean? So then I only had to go to school half a day. So, you know what I'm saying? So I was learning how to manipulate the system by another way. You know, other people like ditching and playing hooky. And I was like, they can get me out of school half the day and they can give me a good job. Why don't I do that instead of
going to school all day?
Or playing hooky or ditching class and then get held back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So they got me a job at this place called, it was like Best Buy, it was called Silo. Okay. And so I was selling electronics. And, you know, we was taking some of them things home. And then instead of, you know, drugs, I was selling them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A little bit better. And so, you know, I mean, you could go to jail for it, but you ain't getting no big time, you know, selling a Walkman. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
And so I just started doing that, and from that time on, I just kept getting jobs of that, like, caliber, you know, or kept looking for them jobs, and I kept getting them. So, you know, I never had to work at, like, you know, a fast food or anything like that. I never even applied. You know, I'm not saying anything wrong with working there. I just said, if I got to choose a place to work, why don't I choose something
a little bit?
Yeah, you know, somewhere I can dress nice and there's women there, you know, I can come in and, you know, like, I just didn't never want to come on smelling like chicken or grease and, you know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. That makes 100% sense.
So, I don't know, that's my whole thing on the drugs, because I guess I be getting tired of hearing people say, you know, I just had to sell drugs, man, you know.
I don't think nobody, I don't never think nobody ever had to sell drugs. I just think that drugs is a choice. Okay, so let's go like this. If you're trying to make money, take the drugs out of the equation. What are you going to do?
Right.
Now how are you going to make your money? So then are you going to say, I had to rob?
Right.
So then you're going to say that now. Nah, I got to rob. You know, I got to rob you.
I had to kill the nigga for his Jordans.
I had to kill the nigga for this. You know.
Why you had to have his Jordans?
Right. You didn't have to have him. I think it's always an excuse, you know. And drugs, selling them, I think, is a big excuse. But in our culture, it was somewhat
perceived as a cool thing.
Well, no, it was forced to be a way of life. It was forced to be a way of life because the second they put it in there, once you got your Nicky Barnes and, you know, all your people back then, even from New York, who started selling it, you know, everything became a drug game because at the end of the day, it's fast money. You ain't getting that check every week or every 2 weeks. You getting that money right then and there on the spot, and it's your money. Mm-hmm. And it's your money. It's your money going into your pockets.
Well, see, that's another thing, though. It ain't never their money. Like, I be seeing people...
Well, I'm talking about if you the big kingpin, it's your money.
Right, yeah, but most of them ain't...
You know, I mean, we ain't talking about the people who... If I'm selling for you, okay, I got to come back and I got to give you this much.
90% of the people out there, that's what they doing.
Right, yes.
Yeah, so you got a big wad of money in your pocket, right?
But that ain't your money, though.
Yeah, you got to go give it to homeboy.
Yeah, and you get like maybe 300 out of...
you maybe, made them $5 grand.
You made them $5 grand, but you get like maybe $300, $400, maybe give you five out of $5 grand, give you $500. All right, cool.
Everybody's seeing these movies, though, like 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying, and they think they gonna be him.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? It's only one him in the movie.
It's only one him.
Everybody else was under him. So,
and it's still, I mean, even in...
You ain't gonna be him.
Even in New York, I mean...
More than likely.
If he would say, if he didn't have to sell drugs, he wouldn't sell drugs. But...
Well, he didn't have to.
No, he didn't have to. But...
He decided that was the way he wanted to go.
That was the direction that he wanted to go in. That was how he was going to get his money.
And I don't got no problem with people saying that, though.
No, not at all.
You know
not at all. Not at all.
I'm selling drugs because this the way I want to do it. It's the way I want to get mine.
There you go.
Cool.
At the end of the day, it's still a business.
Right. Do what you got to do.
It's still a business.
But when you saying, man, I ain't had no choice but to sell drugs.
Nah, you got a choice.
I just don't know a person who really didn't have a choice.
Nah, nobody has a choice. It's a choice you make. No, look, everybody has a choice to say if they're going to sell drugs or not. I mean, you sell drugs because that's what you decide to do. Mm-hmm. You decide to go into that life and sell them drugs. It ain't, here, man, here's a gun in your head. You better sell these motherfucking drugs or I'm killing everybody around you. Nobody's never put under that kind of pressure.
Right,
it ain't happening that day. You know what? Somebody give you an ounce. Here, nigga, take this ounce, man. You can make this much money. You can make, because it sounds fascinating. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can make this much, this much, this much. Damn, I can make this much in a day. Give it here. All right, cool. I'm going to go make it happen. And then that's what you do.
So we say that to say this. You ain't got to sell drugs, all right?
Nah.
If you do sell it, you making a choice to do that. So just be willing to accept the consequences. Don't be calling your mama to put the house on. You know what I'm saying? Because, no, man, that's your decision. Don't call your mama.
Stop snitching.
Yeah, well.
Because you knew what you was getting into when you got the game. Yeah. You knew what you was getting into when you got the game.
But don't be telling your mama to come down. Mom, come down and put the house up. Man, that's you. You handle that.
You chose that.
Your mama didn't choose that. That's why she got a house to put up. Let her keep her house, man. You go down by yourself if you're gonna do that. That's the first decision you gotta make. If I'm get caught up and go down, I'm going down by myself.
By myself. I'm not trying to become an informant. I'm not. Look, I'm finna do the time, 100%, and that's why I got out of the shit, because I didn't want to do that kind of motherfucking time. Sorry, that's the reason why I got kids, because I didn't want to do that motherfucking goddamn time.
Jackal.
Drake.
ELA.
With human bones inhaling everywhere in despair, you sip and run in your lips. You strip yourself confidence through dominance. The goal is total control. Wolf pack remains prominent.